Okay, let's start making a lit cast for this lovely girl here. Now, in order to make a lit cast for your Genesis 8 character, you might want to first load up a Genesis 8 female character. Now, just a slight reminder, if you are trying to make a tool or prop for Genesis 8.1, you can basically make a Genesis 8 prop for 8.1. But it doesn't work the other way around, so it might not fit well if you make a cast for the 8.1 and you want to go back and put it on an 8. That doesn't really work that well. So usually I would model whatever I have or whatever I make using a Genesis 8 model so that I can see the dimensions and how well it fits. So how am I going to do that? First, load up a Genesis 8 character. Okay, unlike doing a morph, and we don't have to delete anything, we just need the shape of it so that we know what we're doing and not flying in blind. So go to File, so highlight your Genesis 8 character, go to File, Export, and export it into a destination of your choice. I'm doing a tutorial, so I'm going to put it here, and name it Genesis 8 Female, and then save it. Now the scale, I usually set it to 1%. You can do your math, but 1% worked perfectly for me out of the box with the normal Blender installation. Click Accept, computer work a little bit, and we should be able to have the OBJ file. Now let's move on to Blender then. When you open Blender, this is what you should see. You should see a little square, a cube in the middle. Don't worry about that, we'll actually use it. A lot of people would delete it, but a lot of the times I will use it. So go to File, and you import the OBJ that you just exported. Find the location where you stored it. For me, it was in Desktop Tutorial, Genesis 8 Female. Double click on it, you'll get your Genesis 8 Female. Now, you might want to check and see that the character is imported correctly in the correct size. Once you import it, the size should be, for dimension Y, it should be about 1.79 centimeters, which is about 6 feet tall. Yeah, the girls are really tall. Okay, now, next, let's start modeling the cast. First, if you don't have a cube, get a cube. If you already have the cube, click on the cube, rename it, cast. It's always good to rename any primitives that you put in so that you know what they are. It makes life a lot easier when you're trying to model things that are a little more complicated in the future. The reason why I chose to model a cast with you guys is because it's one of the easier thing to do in Blender, because it doesn't involve many parts. So let's start the cast. We name the box the cast. Go to Edit Mode. Now, if you're an expert, you can always use a hotkey, but I'm trying to go slow today. Then we scale it down, down, down to about the size of the ankle. Oh, by the way, if you take a look at the bottom right corner here, you will see the keystroke that I did and the mouse clicks. And we'll grab it so that we will put it in place where her ankle is. Don't worry if things are sticking out, we'll fix that later. Yeah, you see that I will move it, I'll move to different perspective so that I would see how it fits on the foot. Fits on the foot. I'll place it right in her heel. This is the heel part of the cast. Now, you might say, well, it's a box. No, don't worry. Go to the modifier menu, which is that little wrench down there. Add a modifier, subdivision modifier. Change the levels to 2. Makes life a whole lot easier to work with. And now we're going to move each and different vertices around so that it will fit her entire heel. Yep, it's just a process of moving vertices around. The reason why we will use a subdivision modifier is because we are dealing with way less vertices. We're gonna get the details back later, but it's a whole lot easier to use. Okay, so it kind of fits the heel right now. It's kind of fitting the heel nicely right now. So next, it doesn't look like a cast yet, but it will. Press 3, select the top face, extrude that up. We're gonna make a short leg cast this time. So we're gonna just move the squares. Again, don't worry if it is not fitting the leg that well. We'll deal with that later. Yep, we're gonna scale and extrude that. Now next, we extrude the foot part. Same thing. We're gonna move that. That is the basic of the cast. You might say it looks extremely ugly right now. Don't worry, we'll fix that. Two things that you're gonna do now. You're gonna take away the face on top. Take away the face at the bottom. Okay, that's X and F. Next, we're gonna move the different vertices so that the cast actually fit the foot. Let's go and change it to vertices mode. And we'll be moving the vertices around using grab and then select the axis that you want to move. Again, process, tedious, but I'm pretty sure you will like the results, especially a cast that you made yourself. Okay, so the foot part looks okay. Looks kinda okay. And let's take a look at the heel part. It's fitting pretty nicely. Let's see. Fits. It's fitting. Let's get the Achilles heels back. Yep, so that it has the Achilles heel part, so it's not protruding. We're going to move this a little further back. Okay, now the shin part and the shin muscle. Well, the muscle is sticking out, so change to transparent view, and let's grab that. And move the cast to where it's supposed to be. Okay. Looks nice. Scale it down a little bit so that it's a little more tapered. To the leg. And let's rotate it a little bit to the side. Move this a little bit in. Ooh. So it's just a process of moving everything to its right place. Okay, there we have it. Basic cast. Now, that's the cast part. Let's do the padding. For the padding, rather easy. Select the loop on top. Extrude. Bring it up a tiny bit. Scale it in. Now you might see some protruding, clipping. Grab and move it. Again, process of moving everything around so that nothing sticks out, nothing sticks too much in. Okay. Now it's still not fitting the foot, the leg, so extrude again. This time scale it back in as much as you want. Move it down. just to get the illusion that the padding is going in. Okay. Scale this up a little bit. Yeah. Getting too close. Okay. So there. That's the padding part. Right? And we do the same thing to the foot. Extrude. Grab it so that it comes out a little bit. Scale it down. Extrude again. Scale it down. Move it in. Scale a little more. And there you have it. Now, again, same thing. Protruding. Don't want that. So we grab these and these. Move it out a little bit. Grab these 3 vertices. Move it up a little bit. Move it out a little bit. Bottom bit. So. Yep, we selected all 3. Again. Grab that. There. Encase the foot. To see that it's a little inward. And there you go. That's the basic of the modeling. You have the cast. Certain adjustments that you might want to make. This part right here. This part right here. The ankle, a lot of the times it protrudes a little too much. It's just kind of come out. So a few things that we can do. We can always grab this part and move it in so that you can see it more of a foot. And usually this part is a little too wide, so we can grab this, kind of move it in a little bit. Yeah, so that the cast might not be too bulky. Same thing with the back. You might want to taper that in a little bit. See that ankle? Okay. And there you go. That's your cast. Now some people like the cast high up. Move this part up. Right? Just go ahead and move this part up if you want the cast to go further up. But I am not doing that. Sorry. Oops, sorry, not undo, redo. Okay. Okay, next. Now that we have the model kind of modeled, so let's clear this. We don't want that. We are going to unwrap it. If you already know about 3D modeling, skip this part. But if you don't really know about it, the computer will try to wrap the model that you make like wrapping a gift. But if it's in a shape that's like this, the computer finds it really hard to kind of wrap whatever you want, and it will go crazy on you. So you have to tell the computer what part to cut out and place it on a flat surface. So what are you going to do? Well, we're going to go to UV editing. First thing first, coming back to object mode, I'm going to duplicate the cast. Yeah, some people say that you don't have to do that. I usually do it. Let's tell you why. I'm going to duplicate the cast, hide the original one, because I am now going to apply the modifier to the cast. basically sealing in everything. Blender is very nice in a sense that you don't have to apply the modifier. It will just apply it when you output it, making editing your cast a lot easier. But I usually find it a little difficult to UV unwrap if I still have the modifier on, because I have less control there. So I'll apply the modifier, select the cast. A few things we need to add, because there are a few different materials that I want to put on the cast. Boom, boom, boom. In the materials like the globe panel, add 3 different materials. Starting with 1, the cast. And then a material called cast heel. I'll tell you why in a little minute. And then we have the padding. Okay. Now let's assign them. How are we going to assign them? Well, first we have to mark the seams. Telling the computer where each of the cuts are. So first, I'll mark out the heel. Okay, after you marked out, remember not in the vertex mode, in the line mode, right click, you get mark seam. So the heel part is cut out, and I need to tell the computer that this is the heel. So select heel cast heel, face select mode, click on one of the face, Control L. It's all linked. Now you'd see a really weird shape here. Don't worry, because that's the computer projecting it. You go to UV unwrap. You get this interesting shape. Now we are going to rotate this. Oops. And then scale it. Put it somewhere here. So that's the heel. Next, we're going to tell the computer where the padding is. So we're going to go back, line select mode. Now it's very easy to see where you want the padding to be. Usually you would see the contour going closer. I'll choose this one. Mark the seam. Right, it's all the way around, and the top part as well. Again, closer contour, mark the seam, go to surface select, click, Control L, shift click, Control L. Again, you see this weird artifact on the side. Don't worry, we are going to unwrap it. Oh, I forgot. Always forgot about this part. We need to cut one more line. Or else it would become something like this. Really weird round circle. You don't want that. You don't want the round circle. Tell you why later. I'll tell you why later. When we get back to Daz and we try to apply a surface to it. So let's give it a cut somewhere here and here so that we break the circle. Let's go here. Yes, I am cutting it into the cast as well. Don't worry, that will be explained later. Okay, so let's make that cut. And on top, I usually mark it in the back. Okay, everything is marked. Great, surface select. Select the 2 faces and find out all the links and recalculate the unwrap. Okay, so now it's broken. Next, we need to turn this round C shape back into a rectangle. How are we going to do that? Simple. find one of the polygons, click on 2 vertices, scale Y0 so that it makes it horizontal, completely horizontal to the Y-axis, and then select the ones that go straight, and we do the same, scale X-axis 0, scale X0. What I'm doing here is I got this actual rectangle, okay, a perfect rectangle that fits nicely horizontal and perpendicular to the X and Y axis. And then we go into the face select mode, click on this square, this polygon that we made into a rectangle, right click, follow active quad, and you would see there. Okay, now this is the outside part where it connects to the cast. This one goes into the foot, so we will rotate it 90 degrees so that we know the orientation. This side is to the outside, towards the outside. This side is towards the inside. We'll grab it and scale it so that it fits. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the bottom one, so I'm going to speed it up a little bit. Yeah, usually I'll scale it so that the size is about the same. Doesn't have to be exactly the same, it's about the same. And there, that's our padding part. So click padding, assign that as padding. And so now if we select cast, whoops, we're still not getting the right part. Ah, he was not assigned, sorry. Assign the heel. Yep, padding is good. Heel is good. Cast is good. Now we have to UV unwrap the cast as well. So select everything that's on the cast. Good. Then UV unwrap it. This is how the cast should look like. Now we're going to do the same thing that we did with the padding. So just choose okay, so now that everything is cut out, everything is perfect. We'll go back to the layout mode, check and see if everything is okay. Yeah, looks fine, should be fine. We're gonna export it. So select the cast that you are about to export, go to File, Export, OBJ, find the folder that you want to put it in. For me, I'll put it back into the tutorial folder. Name it. There, boom. Don't click export yet. For the scale, change it back to 100. Object, select only. You only want to select, well, you only want to export the cast. So that's why, select only and export. Ta-da! Our cast is modeled. Next, we're going to go back to Daz. Right here. So on Daz, we still have our character. We go up, File, Import. Go back to the folder where you left your cast. Double click. Scale is 100%, accept. Bam! There we go. We have the leg cast, but it looks really horrible. Completely white. Completely white. So we're going to shade it. We have to shade it. Click on the cast. Go to the Surface tab. Expand it, you will see your cast heel, and your padding. Start with the padding. Base color, that's what the color you want. Now we can add a pattern to it. I usually add the pattern of a knitted sweater. So go to the padding, base map. That's the color. I do it in grayscale because I can always change the color. There you would see the reason why we kind of move the UV map when we cut it. The orientation for the pattern looks perfect on the cast this way. Okay, same thing with the toe part. Right, you can see the alignments are correct. Good. Next, we would want to add some bump to it. So go down to the base bump, click on the arrow, browse, add the bump map. Bump map is basically telling the computer where each part is off the surface and which part is actually going into the surface. Give it some strength. 5 seems nice. Normal map, browse, padding normal. Again, normal map gives us the depth of the pattern. So if you go back and take a look at it, looks, well, there are certain bumps. Feels like it's going in and out. Feels, keyword feels, because we are not putting a displacement map on it. Again, displacement map, killer to the performance. Now you might say, well, gee, we are not making a sweater. This looks really big. Yeah, because we can actually change the tile size. How much tiles we're putting into the material. So let's try and put it so that it's like 5 by 5. There, you would see that the texture looks nicer. It looks more like a stockinette. And if you move in, you can still see the little bumps inside each of them. And that should be good. So that's the padding part done. Let's go into the cast part. For the cast part, again, we put the base map, bump map, give it some bump, normal map, and voila, we have the leg cast done. And the heel part is still white, so we go ahead and copy, paste, and now you have the heel. Now the reason why we model, we actually cut the heel part and the actual leg cast part out differently is because we want to make sure that the orientation of the bandage looks right. There are occasions that I need to adjust the size down here, so yeah, that makes life a little, well, it will make it look nicer. So let's show you what I mean. So for the heel part, there should be some stretching, right, because it's wrapped around a little tightly on certain space. So let's make the tile a little smaller so you can see the stretching in the back, stretching a little more than the side on top. So that looks a little nicer. Okay, but don't do that just yet. Let's fix the color. The reason why we have the I have the base color in grayscale is because I can always change the color. Let's use a color that I love, purple. And you see all the white sparkly bits? That's because it's reflecting really strongly. Let's cut that in half and give it a little bit of a roughness so that it's rough. See? Much nicer. Looks much nicer. And now we can copy this color back to the heel. And now if we want to fix the distancing of the bandage, we can always do this now. And voila, that's how the cast should look. Sorry about that, the padding should be a little off white. Don't like it to be too, I don't like it to be too white. And roughness, let's do that. So there we go, that's the cast. Now, if we move the character right now, the cast won't follow. Will not follow it. That's because we are not telling Daz that the cast is worn on this lovely lady. A few things you can do. You can actually place this inside the shin and it should move together. But don't do that. Don't do that. We're going to transfer the utility to the link cast. So how are we going to do that? Go up to Edit, Object, Transfer Utility. Go to Genesis 8 Female. And then for the target, you choose the cast. Hit Accept. It'll do a little bit of a calculation. Yep. After it's complete the calculation, still calculating. Still calculating. Okay, and if we move the body, it will follow. Not only that, if we were, let's say we want to change the body to another body type, let's say. So let's say we choose, let me find a body type, full body. Let's say we have a different body. You can see that the cast actually follows the body. No matter what you do to change the body size, it will follow it. Okay, so that's why transferring utility would be a better choice. Now that you have a cast, you can enjoy modeling your or posing your character in your favorite pose. Oh, before we end, let's go back to Blender. There's something I forgot to tell you. Very important. Some people will find that how come my cast doesn't fit the Genesis 8 body that well? It seems that it's kind of shifted. Before you export, remember this. Choose the cast. Choose the cast. Go to the object, snap, cursor to world origin, and then set the origin to the 3D cursor. You want this orange dot to be in the world center. Okay, or else when it's imported into Daz, it will shift your cast. Okay, so do this before you go to export OBJ. Okay, so remember that, or else your cast will be shifted into oblivion. Okay, well, that's it for today. A beautiful cast that's made by you. If you have any questions, leave it down in the comments, or come to my Deviant page, leave me a DM, and we can talk about it later. I'll see you again. Bye bye.